Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Scouting. Today's video is a little bit different. I'm titling today's video Active versus Passive because I've got two games for you today. The first one is one of my games in the ELC AMX on Erlenberg, and after this game I'm going to show you another game. In fact, it's one of your replays. It's a replay sent in to me by Danian, but the two videos couldn't be more different. I'm more of a passive player. I like to play my ELC as a passive scout at the beginning of games. However, Danian is definitely much more of an active scout when it comes to the ELC. So these are two very, very different playstyles in the same tank on the same map. So the circumstance I found myself in here is a 44%er. There are some very, very good players on the enemy team. There are two Unicums on the enemy team in a Tiger 1 and a Chiri. There's also a near Unicum in an enemy 110. So three very, very good players on the enemy team and a lot of good players on the enemy team. And I really, really want to win this. I'm platooned with Bringy and Ram. They are in their Tier 7 TDs, but it's a Tier 8 game. So here we go. So we've got a few scouts on our team. We've got another ELC, we've got an AMX 1375. But it's really, really important to get spots for my team. And even if my team can't hit them, it's really, really important just to figure out where the enemy tanks are going so that my team can react. So I'm firstly going to pop up to E0. I've got another ELC coming up here with me, and our AMX 1375 is moving along the 9 line. So unfortunately all three scouts have decided to come the same way, and I really, really wish the enemy or the friendly ELC had actually gone somewhere else. But the AMX 1375 is spotting these Ferdies. They're outside of my view range, so I should be outside of theirs, and we're just going to go to work. So WZ131 has now been spotted. My sixth sense hasn't gone off. Enemy WZ131 hasn't spotted me, but he's pushing forward to get spots. Meanwhile, this Ferdy is sitting and he's showing me his strongest armor, and the ELC doesn't have the most accurate of guns, so I can't really snipe his weak spots from this distance. So I'm looking for his weak spots, zoomed in fully. That's a weak spot. But it's going to be really, really difficult to hit them. So I need him to turn. Okay, he's turning. So now we can get another shot in. WZ131 on the enemy team was taken out, but so I get another shot into the Ferdy, and he's turned around yet again. And these guys are outside of my view range, so I've got no issues with shooting them. Very, very, very unlikely I'm going to be spotted, and my team is advancing very, very aggressively. So as long as these enemy tanks are presenting themselves to be shot, I'm going to take the opportunity. Unfortunately, that shot goes low. Not the most accurate of guns. So again, he's giving me his strongest armor. I'm looking for weak spots, but he's turning, and that shot just goes slightly to the left, and I miss him. So not going to rely on the accuracy of my gun anymore. I decide to move forward. My team have moved forward very, very aggressively. And the Ferdies have been taken out. So I've finally been spotted by the corpse of that Ferdy, and I turn around and start moving. So we haven't sent very many tanks down the other flank. They've only the IS-3 crossed the bridge, and he's under pressure. And lots of spots are being gotten in the middle. RT has been spotted. I'm turning around because I realize I've got a shot. And shoot, and unfortunately miss. Go for a blind shot, and unfortunately the GW Panther had moved into cover. So Ram had crashed. He's finally moving and gotten back into the game. No shots on enemy RT, but I'm moving back down here because the tanks down here are taking fire. And the Chiri has been spotted. That's the best player on the enemy team. I've got a shot. He's moving into cover. And I take a snapshot before he gets fully into cover. So again, I'm playing quite passively. I really want to win this game. I don't want to YOLO across the river. So the AMX 5100 is down in the riverbed. Not getting shots at these guys. Is the 110 going to keep advancing? He is. Get a shot into his side. And it gets me spotted. So there's no RT left in play, but I'm relocating anyway. I don't want to pop up in exactly the same spot, so I should have dropped off radar by now. And I'm just looking for shots. So our RT takes out the 110. That's the third best player on the enemy team. And I have no shots on these guys. So again, there are tanks covering all three bridges. There's a Jagdpanther covering the north, there's a Tiger and a Chiri covering the middle. Unfortunately I bounced on the side of the AT-8, but there's an AMX 5100 and an AT-8 covering the southern bridge. So there's no point in me trying to get across the river. It's an 8-8 game. Still very balanced. No team winning, no team is losing. And unfortunately, bounce on the 5100. So again, the two best players on the enemy team are the Tiger and the Chiri. They're both in the middle. So I'm relocating to see if I can get shots. And I realize that we've lost the north. So we've lost the north flank completely. So now, rather than sitting and waiting for shots down below, I need to take my scouting role a little bit more seriously. And I'm going to move up just in case anyone is trying to cross the river. So IS-3 has been spotted in the middle. Bringy gets a good shot in. And now that Chiri has advanced across the river, he's got 6th sense, he got spotted and he immediately falls back. I had a decent shot at the peak of the IS-3. Unfortunately, the shot doesn't go in. Still not quite sure. It was a perfect shot down on his beak, negating any angle he had. But anyhow, we bounce. Not much to shoot at the Chiri. IS-3 is taking fire. I'm expecting him to reverse. He's advancing. And he turns, get a shot into his side. So that does get me spotted. So I'm pulling back just in case the Jagdpanther or the T-3485 have advanced across the river. Hang around long enough to drop off radar. And now we'll advance and see if we can get some more spots. IS-3 is retreating. This long aim time on the ELC. And that was a little bit speculative. It didn't get me spotted, but missed my kill shot on the IS-3. So now I'm in a position to spot anyone coming from the north, and I can put pressure on the middle of the map. So I'm playing really passively, but I really want to win this game. We're winning 9-8, but still some really good players left on the enemy team. It's a 44%er, and I really like winning games when the odds are stacked against us. So I'm getting no spots from the middle. Bringy and the VK are moving north. And about this time I'm starting to wonder whether or not the Yag Panther is moved. I have no idea what health the Yag Panther is on. But I'm playing around with the idea of going to see if I can go find this Yag Panther in the T-3485. So I've got two tanks behind me. I've got the VK and I've got Bringy in his Yag Panther. And I want to actually get them targets to hit. So I'm playing around with the idea of advancing. Just waiting for this Chiri. And I'm just wondering what I can do to affect this game. If I can get spots, then I can affect the game. Now the Super Pershing is moving north, and I'm starting to think, well, we haven't spotted any tanks in a while. They're good players, so there's a good chance that maybe they're moving north. None of our tanks will have been spotted north. We haven't spotted any of the enemy tanks, so there's a good chance that maybe some of the enemy tanks have relocated and they've gone north. So I finally make my move. I decide to get some spots for the Super Pershing VK and Bringy and his Yag Panther. And the VK is telling me not to go. But there are only 3.5 minutes left of this game. I know the VK may be a Unicum, but I do not want to draw this game. I want to win it. So I'm inching forward, using this bush in front of me for cover. Super Pershing's moving up. So I move forward. Chiri is spotted in the middle, and I've spotted the Yag Panther. Super Pershing bounces on the Yag Panther. I decide to take the Yag Panther out. It gets me spotted, but that's okay. That's okay. So the T-3485 moves up. Not sure if the Super Pershing has seen him, because the Super Pershing wasn't aiming towards him. Looking for shots. Unfortunately, there are wrecks in the way. I go for a shot under the corpse of the Yag Panther, and it goes in. So now all of a sudden it's 11-8. I wasn't spotted. Okay, KV2 on the hill. And he seems to be AFK. So get a nice shot into him, set him on fire. And the Super Pershing finishes him off. So 3 good players on the enemy team left. 2 minutes of this game left. Super Pershing wants me to go with him. And I finally decide, yeah, okay, let's get let's get some eyes on these guys, these last remaining tanks. So Super Pershing is capping. He's putting pressure. If the enemy tanks want to win. I haven't been spotted. That was a blind shot by someone. So Tiger 1 is just firing blind into the circle. Go for a lucky shot before I'm fully aimed. managed to kill the tiger. Just the enemy Chiri left. I don't want to cap out. I want to kill the Chiri. But the Super Pershing's continuing to cap. And thankfully, Bringy takes the Chiri out, so we take out all the enemy tanks and cap at the same time. So that was a win on Erlenberg in a 44%er in a game I really wanted to win. So I played really passively, played much like a TD, didn't do any major scouting until the end of the game, and even then didn't do any active scouting at all. And I was mainly damage dealing. I got 984 XP for that game. I fired 17, hit 12, penned 9, 1761 damage. I only spotted one enemy tank, damaged 9, destroyed 2, and did 458 assistance damage. So I wasn't playing that as a scout. I was playing it very passively and playing much more like a TD. However, in this next replay, a game that was sent in by Danian in his ELC AMX, also on Erlenberg, Danian goes completely active. Danian goes a little bit crazy. He plays the ELC really aggressively. Let's just get going. So Danian has no fear. It is a 64%er, so Danian needs to be aggressive if he's going to get a lot out of this game. And believe me, Danian is very aggressive. So just two completely different styles of playing the ELC. So he starts off by perhaps thinking about going down the 1-2 lines, but then changes his mind. Enemy scout has been spotted advancing, AMX 1375. And then an M4A3E2 is spotted. KV-1S is spotted. And Danian is staying on the move. He pauses for a moment to see if he can get any shots. Unfortunately, the object gets into cover. Object is still advancing. And Danian goes for a shot before he's been fully aimed and before the object can get into cover. However, that shot gets him spotted. So now Danian is going complete active. He's chasing down this object. Gets a shot, but doesn't manage to hit it while on the move. Gets behind the object. Object can't turn his gun around fully. He gets under the gun of the object. Gets a shot in at close range. Object gets taken out. And none of the enemy tanks are able to hit Danian. So you may think that that was quite fortunate, the fact he got under the gun sight or the gun depression of the object, but Danian will show you that that was pretty much intentional. You'll see it happen again later on in the game. But enemy tanks are missing. I mean, he's just avoided a pile of shots. KV-1S and M4 A3E2 have been taken out. AT8, yep, 88 has been spotted, so misses a shot, gets a shot into Danian. Danian fires on the move, then runs into a building. And the 88 knows what he's doing. He's reversed up against a wall, but Danian has managed to get in beside him. Danian isn't able to get a shot in at that angle, but the 82 can't get his gun around and gets taken out. So Danian's on the advance again. T-32 is spotted. And there's nothing a scout likes more than spotting a lone enemy tank. So he gets a shot on the move, tracks the T-32 but doesn't do any damage. Turns around. Gets quite fortunate. He sits in the open. Uses the T-32 for cover from the A-43. He's up to 666 damage. But he's using his ELC really aggressively. He's getting under the gun depression of most of the tanks he's coming up against. So pre-aims on the A43, unfortunately misses. You tend to do that a lot. So A43 is coming down for him. Misses a couple of shots. Gets a shot in on the A43 as the A43 tries to flank him. The T-34, who is behind him and Danian completely ignored, gets taken out. But he's up to almost 1,000 damage. Hasn't managed any kills yet, but he's just being a complete pain in the butt. 4 enemy tanks remaining. They're all sitting up on the ridge. And Danian's just advancing. So other than a brief moment at the beginning of this game, Danian has never stopped moving. He has been completely active compared to how passively I played in the first game. But 3 enemy tanks left. This is pretty much a whitewash. Does Danian stop to take any shots? No, he doesn't. So even though there were 3 tanks in front of him he could have shot, he doesn't bother. He moves in. KV-3 is spotted, another tank with poor gun depression. Danian pauses to get a shot in. Ignores the KV-3. There's a KV-4. He ignores the KV-4, gets really lucky again. KV-3 only tracks him, moves in on the KV-3, gets another shot in. And now he's putting the KV-3 between himself and the enemy tanks so that they can't shoot him. That's not the first time you've seen this in this game. And he's below the gun depression of the KV-3. So he's staying safe from the enemy tanks by using this KV-3. Gets another shot into him. And the KV-3 gets taken out. Couldn't get his gun down to kill Danian. So Danian advances. 2 enemy tanks left. And in chat he's just going, hi! So KV-4 is down here, he's on low health. And almost rams himself to death on the side of the KV-4. FCM-50 takes out the KV-4 with a nice ram. Unfortunately that kill shot on the KV-4 doesn't go in, only manages to track him. 1 enemy tank left. It's a stock VK. And Danian doesn't even stop. He's just moving in for the kill. VK is not focused on him. Gets a shot on the move. VK is left on 17 health and gets taken out. So really aggressive and active play in the ELC. Completely the opposite of how I played the first game. That was another ace tanker for Danian. He also picked up Confederate. He picked up 1428 XP, did 2,128 damage with no kills. Even though he was playing really actively in that game, he didn't spot any enemy tanks. Not one. And all the enemy tanks were spotted by friendly tanks. He damaged 7, didn't destroy any, but did do almost 2,000 assistance damage. He earned 45,500 credits for that game. He earned 1428 XP times 2 for the first game of the day, leaving him on 2,856. But really different style of play. In a really different matchup. It was a really good game for Danian. He had to play aggressively. The win chances were high. He did. Damaged a lot of tanks, got a lot of assistance damage. And it just goes to show how versatile the ELC AMX can be. It can be played as a passive scout or a TD, much like I did in the first game. Or it can be played balls to the wall and driven like a madman. Just like Danian did in the second game. So passive versus active. 2 very different games. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.